For those of you who are listening, we have certainly been interrupted by our apocalypse here in Dallas, and I am so sorry that that's happened. But we're getting our guests back online and our co-host, and we may not be able to broadcast today if that's the case. But I'm so excited for you to meet Dr. Paul, and we have a great discussion slated for today. And let's see if we can get them back online here. And here we go. So we've got Christian back here. I'm so sorry to our guests, and we've got Dr. Paul. Let me just jump right into introductions, Christian. How about that? I'm going to put Dr. Paul up because I think that maybe if we have him up, we can just look at him, and there he is. Look at that good-looking face. So, listen, Dr. Paul is the positivity psychologist. He's got over 2 decades of experience in professional psychology, and Dr. Paul lays out how and the why behind positive thinking and positivity. And I'm really excited to ask you about that, Dr. Paul. And he talks about those in his writings, in his keynotes, in his training, in his coaching program. And you're going to get the instruction for what he calls the proper orientation of the equipment of your mind. That's really interesting to me. And then in addition to that, he's got his Live on Purpose radio station. He's got a YouTube channel with over 300,000 followers. Is that right, Dr. Paul?
Yes, we're having all kinds of fun out there.
Yes, exactly. He's got a book called Pathological Positivity. And when you meet him, you can't help but feel his positivity and his enthusiasm. And, so I want to talk to you, start off by talking about this idea, the power and principles of positivity. What is positivity and what isn't it?
Spencer, this is so important because you hear it all the time, right? Just think positive. And you hear that from motivational speakers or gurus on the stage sometimes, like we all know what that means even. And we have to get past the trite, fluffy version of that into the actual psychology behind how to operate the equipment of our own mind. And when you understand the psychology behind it, you can see that positivity is a choice. It just does not depend on your circumstances. People are blaming their circumstances all the time for how they feel. And we know in psychology, it's not about our circumstances. It's about what we're thinking. And so I often start with people on a concept that I call metacognition. And this is a fun word. Some people haven't even heard it. It just means, well, if you break it down, cognition means thinking. Metacognition is a higher level. It's thinking about thinking. And when you level, be careful with it. You can hurt yourself.
Right.
Okay. But notice that you can do this. You can think about your own thinking. And the great news, metacognition creates a little space. And in that space is where choice exists. That's the power of understanding the psychology behind positivity.
Isn't that what? Oh my gosh, the Austrian psychologist. What was his name? Who wrote? He was in Auschwitz, or he was in the Nazi concentration camps. He said that between the stimulus and response, there is a space, and it's in that space where our freedom lies.
Is that Viktor Frankl?
That's Viktor Frankl. Thank you, Christian.
Christian nailed it.
Happy to make a humble contribution.
Hey, and just consider that for a minute. Here's a man who was captured by the Nazis during World War II. His entire family was killed. And he was sent to Auschwitz and about 3 other concentration camps during his experience there in the war. And he's saying that you can take away everything from a human being except what he labeled the last of human freedoms.
Right.
To choose your attitude. in any given set of circumstances. And Dr. Frankel's talking about exactly the same thing. When you get to this space of metacognition where you can think about your own thinking, then your circumstances just don't matter that much. And that's pretty powerful doctrine coming out of Auschwitz.
So that is powerful doctrine, Dr. Paul. The problem today is people don't believe it. And so they're saying we've got to change our circumstances for us to be happy. We've got to change our circumstances for us to be nice to each other. I'm not going to be nice to you unless you are nice to me. And to me, I actually play a game with a lot of my clients that it's basically the prisoner's dilemma. And it's fascinating to watch how we treat each other.